Hey there. Welcome back to Tips Over Tea. This is Nicole, your host. I am excited to welcome Tara to the show today. We are going to talk about creating your spiritual toolkit. Now, if you don't know what that is not a problem. That is why we're here today, and that is why you are tuning in. So I want to encourage you, bring your questions, bring your notebook, bring some self-compassion, bring your tea, bring a friend, and listen in. I will see you soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tips Over Tea. I'm so glad that you've joined us for the day. Whether you're catching this live or later, you're going to get some really good information. Tara, thank you so much for joining the call.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So we were talking about, just before we came live, we were talking about building a spiritual toolkit. What does that look like? What does that entail as far as a spiritual toolkit? If that can be answered in such a I'm sure it's not that simple, but
It actually really is.
okay. All right, let's go.
Okay, so you think about a toolkit and you think about, like your basic, say you were at home and you needed your hammer and your screwdriver and the things that just help you to keep your house or your home sustained, right? To keep your foundation good. So you may sometimes have to pull out that hammer. You may be putting up a new picture. You may just need to screw something back in, a socket, whatever you're doing, right? Well, in our spiritual life, we have that same need to sometimes dig in and pull out something that's going to help us to keep sustaining the beautiful life that we have and to enhance. Like I said, sometimes you pull out that hammer and you're adding to your home, right? Well, when you pull out your spiritual toolkit, what's in there? There's a beautiful host of alternative healing practices that you learn. And we do those in a session that I call a soul invigoration session with my clients. And so you'll find in your spiritual toolkit, you'll find different meditation tips, breathwork tips. You'll find different crystals that will aid you in whatever your life's purpose, your soul's purpose, your journey is. There'll be essential oils that'll be good for you. There will be a visualization that I will have written out for you, personalized affirmations for you, yoga practices for you. There'll also be some additional Ayurvedic tips in there, emotional cleansing tips, if that's something that you're dealing with, your body type, and how do you deal with things that are going on in your environment based on your body type. There are just certain things that in the Ayurvedic world, which is an ancient Indian system of healing, there's the concept of we're all just a little bit different, right? So there's like 3 main body types. So in your spiritual toolkit, there's going to be things that are specifically to help you. Understanding that we ebb and flow, right? Nothing's 100% for everybody, but it's a great foundation to start with. And it gives you a way to have a daily mindfulness practice. And what I tell my clients is, and it's not something that you got to go in the toolkit and pull everything out every day, because that's a lot of pressure, right? Yeah. But it's like a buffet, a good, healthy buffet. So today I might pull out my breath work and I might pull out a mantra. So we also do mantras, we do mudras as well, things that will help in aiding you. And so it's basically a way of just having what you need on hand for what's going on in your life and for helping you get to the next part of your ascension and your mind, body, soul integration.
I love that. So when you work with someone, though, I imagine you don't give them all the tools at one time. So that would be a lot.
Exactly.
I'm trying to learn how to breathe and think with my mantra and eat right and the oils. And so how is there, like, do you have a specific one that you introduce? Well, let me rephrase. Do you introduce them in order, or do you introduce them based on like what they need? How do you determine what do you use first with people?
Yeah. Yes. So it is based on need. So a lot of my clients, whether we do a free consult before their session or they write it out in their intake, form with me or for me before their session, I get a chance to really understand. And I love the free consults because we really get to talk for quite a bit. And I get to really connect with you before your session. So yes, to answer your question, it is totally customized on what's going on with them. So if I have a client that says, I just really am ready to go to the next level. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to do all of this to get there, but I don't really know how to get there, or I
Mhm.
don't have the self-confidence to get there. That's
Mhm.
going to look really different than the person that says, I'm at that point in my life with my spouse. We're ready to start our family, and I just can't relax enough to even allow that process to just naturally take place, right?
Mhm.
So those are
Mhm.
two totally different,
Mhm.
sets of events that are going on. So yes, it is basically, we start off in a session with some of the things are basic. So if you come, you're going to get the same foundational support. We're going to
Mhm.
at least do one breathwork practice. And the one that I love the most is diaphragm breathing, or belly breath, as people call it, because that
Mhm.
really helps take you just down and relaxed.
Mhm.
And we're going to do a guided meditation.
Mhm.
That's going to be two of the things that we do. And every session has Reiki. Every session has energy healing. And
Mhm.
then after that, crystals are definitely there, and oils. But after that, all the other things, you may not get a mudra in your first session, or a
Mhm.
mantra, or you may not get a specific guided way to do a set of yoga poses. You
Mhm.
will get affirmations, and you will get your visualization. So the core of it will be the breath work. It will be the guided meditation, the energy part of the session, the
Mhm.
crystals, the oils, the affirmation or affirmations, and the visualization. That's part of that basic toolkit, right? That's your hammer and your screwdriver, right?
Mhm.
After
Mhm.
that, when we start talking about emotional clearing or ways to reduce
I
stress, or
remember you were talking about the base of the kit.
the kit, yes. So in your basic toolkit, your spiritual toolkit, you're going to get the what I call, it's kind of like if you had your home toolkit, got your hammer, your screwdriver, your tape measure, the basics, right? So my version of a basic spiritual toolkit has breath work, guided meditation, energy healing, crystals, oils, affirmations, and visualization. And those are customized for you as well. Some of the things are pretty standard, diaphragm breathing that we're going to do. Very, everyone can do that.
Yeah.
Where we branch off from that, depending
Mhm.
on what's going on in your world, that's when the things become more customized. We may be talking about health and wellness a little bit more with someone. And so we're on those body types for different reasons that we talked
Mhm.
about with Ayurvedic understanding. We
Wow.
may be at a place where someone's just feeling like, I just can't get to where I need to get to. So we may incorporate a mudra, the Ganesh mudra, which is the removal of obstacles, right? So
Mhm.
there's a mudra you can practice to help you with that, and a mantra, for
Mhm.
that. I have had clients that say, I cannot close my eyes and meditate. Okay, so yours is going to look a little different. We're going to talk about candle flame meditation or
Mhm.
geometrical shapes. So those parts and pieces, the yoga poses, may not ever come up in your first session,
Mhm.
because like you said, that would be very overwhelming. If I just said, hey, here's, 1,000 things you can do. And now look, go
Yeah.
figure out which one of these, it's kind of like if you didn't understand the difference between a hammer and a screwdriver, and I say, go put something on the wall, and you don't really understand which one goes with which, it's
Mhm.
kind of the same thing. So we want to go very slow and steady. And the one thing with the session is you'll come out with session notes. It's very important to me. So within 48 hours or so, you will get an email from me, and it will have everything that we practiced. It
Mhm.
will have in there how your chakras felt, what I balanced, what came up. I'm also gifted with intuitive understanding. So a lot of times messages come through, and in
Mhm.
those messages, we talk about them during the session, and we also will have those written out. And for the next day or two, I'm also meditating and praying for you. So a
Mhm.
lot of times more things will come through as well. So you'll read your session notes and go, oh, there may be a little bit more, a little added extra, a little surprise in there that
Mhm.
came up from your spirit team, that they
Mhm.
wanted to relate to you. So, but it's important to me that every client leaves with their notes within about 2 days, because that is a lot. Even that basic toolkit, that's a lot, especially if it's new to you, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So you want to be able to have something to refer back to. So a lot of times it won't just be the write up of this is how you do the breath work. It may be a YouTube video connected to that, that here's exactly what that looks like. You know, this is that breathing technique. This is that mudra. This is that yoga pose. Because it's really important to me that you are taking care of yourself and you're taking time out of your day to do that. And it's a lot easier to do that when you've got it right in front of you, you've got the notes, and you can always come back to me and we can always talk about it. Or I always tell my clients, you're welcome to call me, and I always offer like a secondary follow on, you know, like 30 minutes of just, if you want to do that breath work together, let's schedule a time and let's practice that. If you want to do something else together, you know, I want you to feel comfortable because this is your time. This is our sacred space together. And it doesn't necessarily end when our 90-minute session ends. It's important to me that you are able to continue your work. And then there are certain clients that actually come every week. They feel they need, so we get a new breath work every week. We get a new mantra or a new, it's just kind of a mix and match. It is very much that buffet for them. And so, and they're changing. For example, I had one client who started off really wanting one thing. She wanted to start a family with her husband. And by the time we were 6 sessions in, she decided, you know what, I'm young yet. I don't want to do that. You know, I have all these other things I want to do. Can we change my affirmations? Can we, you know, so just her going through those sessions allowed her the opportunity to really open up and feel and understand what her soul's purpose is. You know, and it didn't take it off the table, but it helped her to really understand that her timeline is very expansive, you know, and her timeline is what she wants it to be. And so now she's kind of cultivating other things in her life, and that's still there, but that pressure's off, right? The pressure to do something has dissipated for her. And now she's enjoying her life, and we're still having our sessions on a weekly basis, but they've changed so much. And so I love to see that too. I love to see when people are digging in their spiritual toolkit and going, hey, you know what? I've been doing this and it's gotten me open. What I say about meditation is it really does open you up to understand and to hear, you know, what is your soul's purpose? Why are we here? What is your mission? The more you're open to that, the easier it is to function in this life.
Yeah, I was on in a room the other day, and I was talking about like you can fight nature if you want. That just makes it a lot more challenging when you're fighting against what you're supposed to be, what you've been called to do. So
exactly.
A lot of times we don't even realize we're fighting nature. We're doing what we think we're supposed to be doing because we're, you know, the U.S. is not yet. I mean, it's coming along, but we don't sit still long enough to really tap into like, what is it that what contract did I sign when I said I was going to come here, right?
Yes. Love that.
Yeah. So I appreciate the fact that you kind of help people reveal their contract, so to speak, so that they can walk in alignment with what was ordained for them, for lack of a better word. Like, this is what your soul was like supposed to be doing, type things.
Exactly. Even just personally for myself, I tell people the more that I understand that there is no turning back. Once you know that, it is just really hard to go a different course, you know. And so the sessions, yes, they're actually called soul invigoration sessions for that exact reason. It's let's get back to the beginning, or as my Reiki teacher likes to say it, you made a contract with God, source, the universe, whatever you call your higher, you know, power. And that was determined before you slid out of the birth canal, is the way she likes to say it, right? So how do we get back to understanding that? Because you come out of that birth canal and life happens, right? You are in a family, you're doing things, you're growing up, you're being molded and shaped, right? That's what your parents are there to do for you. And as you know, you and I have talked about before, you ingest everything. It's not just the food that goes into your body, it's the sights, the sounds, the environment, your home life, everything. And that's shaping you in a different way. And so sometimes we get very disconnected from what that soul's purpose was. We look up and we're 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 years old, and we haven't quite yet connected back to what was it that I came here to do? Because we all came here with a
Yeah.
purpose or purposes.
Yeah. And sometimes because we aren't in tune or connected, we don't realize that some of the stuff that we were molded into or with is part of what you were supposed to learn in order to fulfill your contract. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. I was just saying that the other day to a friend. I look back and I try to tell this to my clients as well. Think back to what you did as a child when you were very innocently living your life. I think back to the fact that I wrote my first book when I was 7 years old and illustrated it and took it to school, and the teacher loved it, and we laminated it and we put it in the reading corner and we read it to the class. Well, I've authored 2 books, but I didn't do that till I was in my 40s. But that thing, and as I tell people, it just never goes away. I look at the fact that I used to sit in my family's bathroom and mix up all these bizarre products. I would put lotion and perfume and all these things, and then try to give them to my mom and my sister and my dad. And now I do essential oil blends, right? So it's, you look back on it, I wanted to be a nurse when I grew up. Well, I'm a healer,
Yeah,
right?
you're healing people.
So, that, like you said, those hints are there. And sometimes it just takes taking that moment and loving yourself enough to give yourself the space and time on a daily basis to really, truly tap in, because it's already there. You just have to connect back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is also a hard concept for people to grasp when they ask, like, what should I, like, you already know the answer. So that speaks to like that whole self-trust that we tend to lose as well. So I imagine in your invigoration sessions, that kind of is not like, is it like specifically spoken about, or do you just kind of, it just kind of happens as a result of some of the work that you do with them, with your clients?
For some, they actually come in and say that is an issue they're dealing with. For others, it's very clear that that's an issue that they may not know that they're dealing with. And so that's why it's very important, that when we're in that session together in that time, we will talk about it, and we will talk about, what's going on, or what's happening. And a lot of times with my sessions, I don't do them in every session, but sometimes I'll pull oracle cards, and those oracle cards tell you exactly, and it's never without fail, whatever card they get is exactly what's going on with them. And it always resonates in some place of self-love or courage, or there's something that they need to move forward with. And and that helps them to go, okay, so now I can't hide from that. I got a card in front of me. It's telling me that. And you can just see the looks on their faces when they read it, and they go, okay. And then those affirmations that we do, and the visualization that they're going to get. So when I'm channeling those affirmations for them, it is doing that. It's building up that self-confidence. It's building up that empowerment for themselves. We're making sure that their solar plexus chakra, is really healthy and strong, as well as all of their chakras. But we're really making sure that, because before we can go out and really move forward with anything, we've got to be secure in knowing that we can. Right? And then that visualization that I write out for them, it's seeing yourself and feeling. It's so much about the feeling of it, being in that moment right now. That moment is happening right now. And the only disconnect between that moment, which you say is in the future, and right now is how you're feeling about it. And the more you tap into that feeling, the more you'll find that space and time becomes like, oh, it's here. I'm doing that thing, right? I remember when I was, oh, wait a minute, I'm already living that life. I'm already doing that thing.
Yeah.
So, but it all starts with that level of self-confidence, like you said. And if we can't get there, it's really going to be hard to move forward. So for some of my clients, I also do customized hypnotic tracks. And so that's a way to help them go a little bit deeper. So they listen to the track for 21 days. It's based on, a 90-minute consult where we really dig in. We understand what's going on in their life. We talk about their childhood. We talk about how they're feeling about the things that are happening now, the things that were happening in their past. We do a scan of their chakras. And so that track is going to be healing your chakras. It's going to be giving you that self-confidence, that boost, and it's going to help you to just visualize and move forward with your soul's purpose.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And visualizations are very powerful. People use it just for accomplishing like a speech that they have to do.
Exactly.
You can imagine using it for accomplishing a life's purpose, or even self-esteem. And just, I love how it can be used in so many different ways, and it's just as effective because that's how our brain thinks. Whenever I talk about visualization, I ask, when you say to someone, spilled milk, what do you see? Right, when you say don't spill the milk, you see spilled milk, right? Your brain thinks, or your subconscious thinks in images. So be very intentional with the words you use.
Exactly.
What you visualize, because that's what is going to typically happen. Like, as far as, people tend to, you're like, I hope I don't drop this. And then you end up dropping it. You're like, why did I drop it? You said that you fed your subconscious.
Exactly. And so it is. It's the remapping of the brain, right? And the tracks actually have that theta wave. It has those binaural beats in it. So it's really helping you to get to that really calm, relaxed state. And we even do it in the sessions. A lot of times my clients will say that. They're like, whoa, was I hypnotized? I wasn't intentionally trying to hypnotize you. You just finally gotten to a place where you're calm and relaxed. And so as we're moving from the breath work to the guided meditation and into the Reiki portion of the session, yes, you've actually gotten to a place where you've released, and in these moments, you are receiving and understanding, and you're receptive to, the good things that can happen for you. So imagine if we're doing this. I always say to my clients, imagine if we're doing this every day. And maybe you can't necessarily do Reiki on yourself, but we all have the ability to channel energy. So I don't like for people to get too caught up with, I gotta, it's got to be this and the hand positions have to be that. And I'm not certified yet. We all have the ability to call good energy into our life, and to bring healing to ourselves. And we never want to forget that part of it,
Yeah, that is definitely something I like to focus on when clients thank me for what I've done. I'm like, you did all the work. I just got it.
Exactly.
So I want you to realize how powerful you are. I asked somebody the other day, I was like, what are you going to do with all that power?
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. Like, that's you, boo-boo.
For me too, it's like, I love it. I love the sessions because I'm the vessel, right? So I get like all this good energy just coming through and I feel good, I have 2 or 3 sessions in a day. I'm like, by the end of the night, I'm like, woo, I feel great. But I'm truly the vessel. You are the receiver of that, and you're the ones that are actually, doing the work. It's as much love and that's why we really want, to start off with that foundation and that foundation of self-love, because once you have that, you're not going to let those other things kind of take away from your time. And I tell that to my clients as well. I've had clients that say, well, I'm busy, or I can, or I don't know, or I'm always on the go. And I say, I got you. I have, and I learned this from my meditation teacher. I've meditated in the parking lot of a store. You don't have to. I think the more pressure we put on ourselves to go, it's got to be 5 o'clock every day, and it has to be in this room, and I got to light these candles and this. You're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
But when you just understand that you can drop in and have a moment, my dog and I will meditate under a tree in a park, and we're just as good as if I had done it in my meditation room at home. Right? I'm having a long day. I've got things done. I know when I get home, I'm still going to be kind of spinning. I will literally put whatever I have in my car, close the door. I know I'm in a safe place, close my eyes and meditate and not leave that parking lot, because it is that important to me that I take time for myself. And so that is the foundation of what we all need to do, is take care of ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, you can meditate in the shower.
Yes.
But I think too, part of it is that, like, having have everything has to be, all the ducks have to be in a row for you to be able to meditate. But also, I think when we don't realize the power of it, like, because you don't feel anything when you're going with something, but as a novice, you don't feel like it's doing anything. And because a lot of it happens on the subconscious level, and we don't realize how much we're feeding our subconscious, and that's a good way to feed the subconscious is through meditation. So it's just, I think, educating on that part, like what exactly, especially for the science people, because there's science behind it. They've shown it, like the benefits of meditating with respect to your health and wellness and everything. So I love the fact that you'll just, like, if you're in a safe place and you don't get out of your car yet, and you just sit there and get at least 5 minutes. And that's what I did with my client. They're like, I can't sit still long enough. It's like, can just do 5 minutes, just baby steps. And then the more you do it, the more your body actually likes it. And so you end up kind of like making sure that you do it somehow, some way, whatever you got to do. So I love that you take time like that, like no matter what. This is something that's incorporated in my day. And another thing, when clients are like, I'm not consistent, I'm like, do you consistently brush your teeth? I was like, then you are consistent. You're just choosing what you want to be consistent with. And consistent doesn't have to mean, like you said, the same place and time every day. Consistent just means doing the thing every day or at certain intervals. And so just really tapping into that aspect of the mental blocks that people have created for themselves.
Exactly. And you hit on something about, the health benefits of it too. When you're sitting still, even for 5 minutes, your nervous system is calming down. You're releasing stress. A lot of times my clients will say, well, I'm thinking. Well, thinking is actually okay. And I'm going to caveat that with, but. Okay. So thinking, that's releasing thoughts. That's releasing stress in your life. That's okay. What I always joke with my clients about, and I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I'm like, okay, so you're sitting down and you're meditating and you have a thought, oh, I've got to go to the grocery store. Okay, let that go. Back to whatever you're doing. If you have a mantra or if it's quiet or whatever you're doing. But if you say, I have to go to the grocery store, and when you're done and you open your eyes, you know everything you need on every aisle of that grocery store, you might have just a little bit, not have gotten as much of that particular meditation, right? So it's okay to have the thoughts. It's okay to let them come. It's very much okay to let them go. If you find that you've just drifted into thinking or daydreaming or having some other experience, well, your body is still relaxed. And so I say, and two, don't count that as a non-win, because you were still sitting there. You were still in a more peaceful place than you may have been otherwise. It's just, let's try the next time to know you have to go to the grocery store. The whole 40 items you need might not need to be. And then, like you said, the other point that I love too is like, something's going to happen, something's going to shift. Well, for me, it's the quiet space. As Deepak Chopra likes to say, the space, the gap between the thoughts, is that quiet place. That's where those infinite possibilities are occurring. But you don't necessarily, for me anyway, and this is my take, not Deepak's, but you don't necessarily get them in that moment. A great revelation may not happen in that 5 minutes or 20 minutes of meditating, but you may go to the grocery store and randomly run into somebody who is connected to something that is very important to you, that, those synchronicities start to occur a lot easier. Or a thought comes to you a day or two later that totally makes you understand what it is you need to be doing, or how you need to figure out this piece of what's going on. So trust the process. And I know, like you said, it's so hard for newbies, right, to go, but I don't feel anything, or nothing's happening, or, but it is happening. It really, truly is happening. And you will just start to see that your life is unfolding so much easier. The stress goes away. I was telling someone, they were like, oh, you meditate, so you're never angry. It might be a stretch, right? I don't know about that, but it goes away like bam. I don't hold on to anything. I don't have space anymore to hold on to anything. So something can come up and definitely cause a reaction in me, but I'm not holding that reaction for probably a couple of minutes. and then I'm back to whatever I'm doing, right? And
Yeah.
so you'll find that you're in a happier state, that your mind, body, soul connection is just in a more secure space for you to do the work that you need to do. So I
Yeah.
love that you said that. A lot of people just, oh, I'm not feeling anything, it's not working, I'm not sure, but it is. And
Mhm.
it's kind of like just trust and believe and have that
Mhm.
faith in knowing that it's all going to make sense, it's all going to work out, and the benefits are scientifically proven, and they're also spiritually proven.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's just downloaded in a format that you haven't gotten the application to open yet.
Exactly. I
For
love
all for all of the geeks out there.
that. I love that. I love that. That's exactly true. Yes.
um, I will say this too. When the anger piece, and I've talked about this before, people associate anger with the response that people have to anger. And so anger itself is not a bad emotion. It's actually a healthy emotion. It's usually a catalyst for change. It can drive you to change, or it can point at something that you need to work on. But
Hmm.
people associate anger with such a bad thing.
Hmm.
So I always like to point that out. Like I could still get angry. Like, that just means there's a principle that has been violated that I may need to either revisit, maybe change, or something I need to do about, speak about, whatever. So I appreciate that you said that we still can get angry, even though,
Exactly.
we're human.
You're still
All
exactly.
right. So that's awesome. So we are actually close to time. I want to thank everyone who listened to my dog speak to us as well. And thank you so much for tuning in today. But I wanted to ask, do you have any like workshops or programs? Oh, there was another question I wanted to ask too. Do you also, I imagine so, especially with COVID and whatnot, do sessions virtually? Because it sounded like you mostly do them in person, but are they mostly done virtually, or how do you work with people?
Wow, probably about 90% are virtual.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of today and modern technology,
Hmm.
and everything that's happened over the last year and a half has allowed, me to open up to that technology as well. And so most of my clients are online via Zoom. The sessions are just as powerful,
Hmm.
and the reach is broader. So I
Hmm.
have clients in different states. It makes it a lot easier to connect with people, and I think it's comfortable, right? So I love when I get on a Zoom session and all of a sudden, they're connected and they may be on their couch, they may be lying in their bed, they may be, so it's even more comfortable for them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Than perhaps coming and lying on a massage table when we get to the Reiki portion or what have you. They are truly in a very comfortable, very safe place.
Yeah.
We do all the work. The crystals I still have with intention for them. The
Mhm.
oils I will wear for them,
Mm.
if they can't actually experience them.
Yeah.
But it mimics a in-person session pretty much spot on. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, because you're connected to them energetically.
Mhm.
That's really
Energy
cool.
is boundless. So
Yeah, man. I love it. So, what do you have that you would like to share for anyone who is watching now or happens upon this a little later? Any workshops or anything going on coming up or anything like that?
Yes, thank you. I
Mhm.
will be teaching Reiki Level 1 next month,
Mhm.
October 10th, and you
Mhm.
can check that out on my website. And that's going to be first level. Second month of that will be Reiki 2 in November. And then we're just going to keep moving on down the line, Reiki 3, and then Reiki Master teacher training as well. And also, I will be starting some Ayurvedic training and teaching classes to specifically just dive into the Ayurvedic principles as well.
Mhm.
So you can check out my website for that as well. But the first and most exciting thing that I'm excited about is the Reiki Level 1 and really starting to help others with giving the gift of energy healing.
I love that. Awesome sauce. Well, thank you so much for that information. Of course, her information will be in the description so you can connect with her at any moment. And with that, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much, Tara, for your time and your expertise and your energy. And I want to wish that everyone have an amazing day. If you're not subscribed, click the bell, make sure you do all that, and we'll see you next time. Ciao, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, and click the bell so you'll be notified anytime we upload a new video or go live. And as always, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to post it in the comments. We're always checking that. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day.